So, what is mental health, really? I mean, we all have it, just like we all have physical health. But what does that term actually mean when you get right down to it? Well, let's break it down.
Okay, so when you hear the phrase mental health, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? Go on, take a second. You got something? For most people, that answer is usually pretty specific.
And it often has to do with mental illness, things like depression or anxiety. And hey, that makes total sense, right? That's what we tend to talk about most. But here's the thing, that's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. If we only focus on the illness side of things, we're missing out on the whole other half. So there's got to be a better way to look at this, right? Absolutely. Let's get into it. The mental health continuum. This is a much better way to think about our well-being. See, it's not like a light switch, you know? It's not just on or off, sick or well. It's way more accurate to picture it as a spectrum or a continuum. And here is the most important part. Every single one of us is on this continuum somewhere. Yeah, on one end, you have serious mental disorders like depression or anxiety, but way over on the other end, you've got positive mental health. That's when you're thriving, you're feeling content, you're fulfilled. And throughout our lives, we all kind of slide back and forth along this line. It's totally natural. Right, so where you are on that line isn't set in stone. Not at all. It's always changing, always moving. Why? Well, it's influenced by a whole bunch of stuff. Your genetic makeup, how you were raised, what's going on in your life right now, the stresses you're dealing with, all of it. The key thing to get is that our mental health is always in flux. All right, so we've established it's not just about the absence of illness. Let's really define that positive end of the spectrum. What does it actually feel like to be thriving? Well, the World Health Organization has a really great definition for this. They say it's a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Wow. So you see, it's not just about feeling happy. It's about functioning well. It's about living up to your potential, handling what life throws at you, and being a part of something bigger. Okay, so to put that in simpler terms, what does that mean for you and me, day to day? It means being resilient, bouncing back from tough stuff. It's about feeling in control, having confidence, and feeling good about yourself. It's also about managing your emotions and keeping your relationships healthy. It's a very active thing, not just something that happens to you. This brings up a really important question, one that a lot of us probably ask ourselves. When does it become a real problem? I mean, we all have bad days or tough weeks, so how do you tell the difference between normal emotions and an actual mental health problem? Okay, first things first, let's get this straight. We all have times when we feel stressed out, worried, sad, maybe even angry or scared. These are just normal human emotions. There's nothing wrong with feeling them. In fact, they're a necessary part of being alive. So, where's the line? Well, the big difference between just normal emotions and a potential problem comes down to three things. It's when those feelings become really severe, when they're persistent and just don't go away, and this is the big one, when they start getting in the way of your daily life. Like it's affecting your work, your friendships, your family. That's when you know it might be something more. So we know it's a spectrum, and we know when that might become a problem. But here's the thing. There's help out there. There are treatments that work. So that leads to a really tough question. What's the biggest barrier to getting help? Why do so few people actually get the support they need? The reality is, very few. And that's pretty shocking. The number of people with mental health issues who actually get treatment is incredibly low. There's this huge gap between the help that's available and the people who are using it. So why? Well, there are some pretty common barriers. A huge one is stigma. The fear of being labeled or judged. Sometimes it's just a lack of understanding about what's going on. Or maybe you just have no idea how or where to even start looking for help. And then there's the fear of actually telling someone, right? Fear of disclosing your problems. And when you look at all those reasons, research shows again and again that stigma is the single biggest factor, that fear of how other people will see you. It's powerful, and it stops so many people from making that first call or taking that first step. So what do we do with all this? Where does that leave us? Well, it tells us that this is a responsibility we all share. It really does start with each of us. Improving mental health isn't just a personal journey, it's a community effort. Because at the end of the day, that's the whole goal, isn't it? The whole point of talking about this and understanding it is so we can all move up that continuum closer to thriving. It's about helping ourselves and each other reach our full potential and live really satisfying lives. And that brings me to my last question for you. And it's a big one. What does maintaining your mental well-being look like for you? This isn't just some abstract idea we've been talking about. It's real and it's personal. So what are the things you do, or maybe could start doing, to take care of yourself and stay on the positive side of that continuum? Definitely something to think about.